Well, on that score, just a final anecdote from my life in Toronto. As you know, I have a small backyard there, and my neighbor, who's a Muslim, I don't really understand him. I've always wanted a swimming pool. My backyard isn't big enough. In the summer, he went away for vacation for a week, so I brought in some construction people, and we knocked down the fence, put up a new one, annexing his backyard to mine, and then we put a pool in. So I finally have one. Now, whenever he comes out on the back porch and we're out there swimming, he yells at us.
That's horrible.
And it's embarrassing because I have friends over to swim and he's out there yelling. And you know, I tell him, I said, I don't know what his problem is. It's clear he has, whether it's, you know, it's problems with my religion, with the way I let my girlfriend dress. He just seems to hate my lifestyle. I can't explain his antipathy and hostility in any other way.
Right. Are you planning to do anything about it? Or?
Well, you know,
aren't there? Hasn't the municipality actually asked that you reconsider the fencing perimeter that you have established? Or
no, they understand that occupation is 9/10 of the law. So the only real issue has been whether we can work out some kind of agreement between us, but there's no talking to the man. And now he started occasionally, this is really pissing me off, now occasionally he will throw like tomatoes and such over. And I mean, can you imagine if your neighbor were throwing tomatoes into your pool? I mean, what would you do? So
well, I'd get the police on the case right away.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's he's obviously infringing on several of your rights, property rights.
I've thrown a few Molotov cocktails back over at him now. And I feel in the long run that's going to do more than any talking can do to try and restore some kind of peace. Yeah,
that's quite a situation. What does the community think around you?
Well, my community. That's going to go on. My community, you know, it's a funny thing. It's really divided. You know, people who are progressive and have education, they generally sort of line up with me, and then there are others who, for whatever reason, have had their own backyards annexed. They seem to be less sympathetic. But I think the main thing is just to focus on the positive. I do have the pool now, and we can't let their antipathy to our lifestyle, you know, force us to change our values or the ways we live.
Well, these people certainly must realize that they're in the wrong.
It's hard to know what's in their head. Like I say, you can't really talk to them. But we do have the preponderance of violence technology on our side, so we can use that.
Yes, defend yourself as anybody else would defend himself and his family
and
under these circumstances.
My kid said to me the other day, how far can we go with this? You know, we were throwing, like we were being called, Molotov cocktails there in the garage. And I said, well, you know, the key concept is proportionality.
That's right.
For every tomato he throws.
Aren't there people who said that your response with the Molotov cocktails was disproportional?
Well,
what would you say to them? I mean, they seem to have a point, but so a tomato and a bunch of rotten eggs.
They haven't lived under this barrage of tomatoes. Like I said, as many as one a day was coming into the pool, and then you'd have to clean the pool. It was quite an onerous kind of thing to have imposed. And then there's also, let's just be honest, I mean, I'm white, I'm male, I'm German background, and there's just a lot of racism against people like me. And I think it taps into that.
Yeah. And is it true that your children in the summer often have to spend time in the basement because it's too dangerous to be outside in the pool?
That's what I've told them, so I can have the pool to myself. But I think I see where you're going, and yes, I can see how it could be too dangerous for them if I actually let them out. Yeah.
But is it true that you're really open to settling this conflict, or are you quite happy just with the status quo, and you think, well, given that you have a slight advantage, it seems you're also backed by the very powerful German lobby in your
Absolutely.
community,
and I'm grateful to them.
The exile Germans and so on. So,
well, I'm open to settling it because I'm a reasonable person, but there has to be a recognition. There can be no right of return. I mean, he can't take back his backyard. Now my pool is in it, and there's no way to have a pool without that. And so he would have to recognize. I mean, he would have to accept the status quo and not require any return to the status quo ante. And probably have to pay some reparations too for the tomatoes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's certainly a very interesting part of your life, and
yeah.
I'm not sure whether it applies to global politics, but you know, sometimes the meanings are deeper, and I think it's nevertheless very interesting.
Well, as
Dr. Neufeld,
glad to have a chance to share it with the viewership.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.